Good evening, folks. This is Ryan from the Grumpy Guy Show for episode number 45. Ah, crap, I can't remember. Recorded on April 4th, 2022, we talk about AT&T being stupid as well as a lot of Apple, so stay tuned.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
And I'm Ryan McAllister.
So tonight, my youngest has swiped to the office for a call. I'm going to have to talk with him a little bit about these calls because they're becoming more and more frequent and they keep happening when I need to be in the office. So that's bothering me, but at any rate. Short show this week, I'm sure, guys, because I've only got 2 topics on here. Ryan's been busy with school. Thought I had another one. Maybe it'll come up. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. I had 2 topics yesterday in my head. Apparently only remembered one of them.
Anyway, let's transition to our first topic.
Yeah, well, you'll notice the microphone's not in front of me too, folks. Just, that was picking up feedback from Ryan because, well, headphones are in the office as well. So anyway, first topic. So, let's talk about what AT&T is actually doing. So, everybody who's on an iPhone has iMessages. They don't have a choice for anything other than iMessages for texting because the way Apple has set things up. If you want to use a different messaging service other than text messages or Apple's messaging service, you can. However, you can't use anything like with Google. You don't have to use Google Messages. There are a whole bunch of messaging apps out there that you can choose from. But Apple is locked in, and they know that they have people locked in, and they actually do a little bit. I think maybe we talked about it before where they kind of discriminate in a way, because if you're a blue bubble, I think it's a blue bubble, that means, in the iMessages app. If you're a blue bubble, that means you're using an iPhone. If you're a green bubble, that means you're not.
Yep.
And of course, all of everything that goes with that is all locked in as far as the emoticons and all that other stuff. It's locked into Apple. They aren't following standards necessarily as far as how they transmit through text messages. So Google's been doing a lot of work trying to start up RCS, or Rich Communication Services, to replace standard text messages. So they've been doing a ton of work, and it's actually gotten to be very good. It sends better pictures. It gives you a little typing thing down at the bottom when somebody's typing so that you know they're typing and responding and everything like that. And they've actually got it so that it's a standard across all carriers.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they've done a lot of work with this, and it's made things a little bit better. Still not perfect because
Nothing is perfect.
Well, yeah. But it interfaces with Apple's iMessage, but not completely. That's where the imperfection falls apart. Google has said, hey, you let us know how we can help and how we can do this, and we can work together with you. Apple doesn't want anything to do with it because they want people to feel segregated and feel left out because, they're on Android. You're not on Apple like your friends. So, the reason I'm bringing this up is because one of the wonderful carriers who is all for this has decided, you know what? On the next Samsung, the S22, we're not going to have Google Messages on there. We're not going to use Google's RCS service at all. No, no. We're going to do our own thing.
What?
Yep. AT&T has decided that starting with at least with the Samsung S22, which I don't know, may be out by now or it's coming out this year. I don't know because I'm a little behind on tech, but at any rate, you know, I saw the article and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So they're saying to Google, screw you, we're gonna do what we want. You know, and all I can think is that's just a wonderful thing to do. So now that Google has taken the steps to actually try and get it so that we've got a unified platform, including iPhones, because some of what they've done, normally what happens is if you send a message to somebody, somebody with an iPhone, they can actually like the message. They don't have to reply back with a smiley face or anything like that. They can just like or put a smiley on the message. And what that sends back to anybody who's not using an iPhone is they liked your message. Well, what Google has done is they've said, okay, well, we know what messages come back. We'll take that message and we'll make it into an emoji. So instead of it saying, so-and-so liked your message, it shows a smiley face. Oh, great.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, so AT&T has decided, no, we don't want to do this anymore. We want our own thing again. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go back to the 1990s when texting first started, and each carrier had its own texting service, which was not compatible with any other service. What? So if you were on Verizon, you could text to other Verizon customers, but you could not text to AT&T. Nope, couldn't do it. No other carriers, just Verizon. And then slowly they decide, oh well, I guess we better open it up. And it didn't cost you any money to text between Verizon customers, but as soon as you texted to somebody on AT&T, it cost you money. And it slowly went away. But now this tells me that AT&T figures that they're losing out because the way, at least I believe, the way that RCS works is it uses data. Well, all of these carriers now have unlimited data plans. So now I'm using data that you aren't charging me extra for. And you don't want that anymore. Wow. So, AT&T is going backwards with things. And it's all about how are they going to make money. It's just stupid. Consumers are losing. That's all there is to it. The consumer is losing on this. But until there's some kind of law put in place that all these services have to interact, it's going to continue like that. I would not be surprised if Verizon follows suit once they find out if AT&T is successful or not. The thing that's going to screw AT&T over is that, you can download Google Messages from the Play Store. You don't have to have it pre-installed on your phone. But, this is part of the problem there is with the way carriers operate in the United States. You go elsewhere, and most people buy their phones directly from the manufacturer or online. They don't go into the carrier store and buy the phone. In the United States, it's the opposite way. Most people go into the carrier to buy their phone. And what does that do? Well, look at all the bloatware that's on these phones. You go in there and you get all the crapware on there that the carrier wants, and you can't remove it. When we were on Verizon, I used to root my phones and put a new ROM on there just to get rid of all the crapware. We actually had a phone. I had a phone once. Now you got to remember this is quite a while ago, but the phone that I had, I believe it had 16 gigabytes of memory. 11 gigabytes were taken up by the operating system, which was Android, which was only 3 or 4 gigabytes, but then the other 7 gigabytes was taken up by bloatware that Verizon insisted be on the phone, and you couldn't uninstall it.
That's stupid.
Yeah, so that's why I would root and ROM my phones, because there was so much crap on there. The phone was useless. But that's what you get when you go into these carrier stores and buy it. You get all the crap they want. That's why the phones that I have, I bought. The phone that the Pixel 4s that we got last year, I bought those directly from Google. The Pixel 6 that I have now, I bought that on Amazon. Unlocked. Basically directly from Google. There's no games with it. There's no crapware on there. The only stuff that's on there is what Google put on there. And it's the stuff that you're going to want anyhow. So, here we are. We're going back to carrier-specific phones. And Apple constantly says things like, oh, this is Android's problem, and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, it's
Android's... not.
Well, it is, but it's because Apple has written contracts with these carriers so that it is Android's problem. With Apple controls the updates that happen on the phones. Plain and simple. Apple says the phone's getting updated. The phone gets updated. The carrier can't say no. There is not a single Android device where the manufacturer has that control in the United States. They all have to say, oh, well, can we update this? And if Verizon says, no, I want people to suffer. I want them to have an old release, so they'll come in and buy a new phone. That's just dumb. It's so bad for the environment. This idea of replacing your phones constantly is just horrible for the environment. Because now I don't care what Apple says. They aren't recycling these things.
They're not.
And even what they can recycle, it's not as good as what it originally was. There's a limit to how much you can recycle. So, this concept of churning phones, it's really, really bad for the environment. And something needs to change with it. These updates, Android's getting better. The big manufacturers and plus Google, they're saying, okay, we'll go with 3 years of operating system updates and then 2 years of patches after that. But, that's nothing like what you get with Apple, because Apple controls it. Just really gets on my nerves,
It is stupid.
It's just more crap where, the carriers are sticking their nose in where it shouldn't be. The carriers should truly be a service carrier. That's all they should be doing, is providing the service. They shouldn't have control over what phones get updated, when they get updated, how often. No, they shouldn't have any control of that. That should be up to the manufacturer. But what do I know? But that kind of leads us right into the next topic, so we'll do a transition.
Round 2.
Jeez, we're keeping Ryan up. So, the next one kind of goes right along with Apple, and the iPhones are great because they constantly get updates. We don't have fragmentation. So, here's the whole problem. And, I caught this on, I don't remember where it was now. I saw it on TV. It must have been a news clip or something, but basically what they said was that the 2011 MacBook Air
Mm-hmm.
is going to be sunsetted. Not going to be supported anymore. I'm
Hmm.
like, okay. Now, unlike everything else, where Windows 7 is no longer, you can't use Windows 7 anymore. I mean, you can use it, but it's not getting supported or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's software. They are saying the device is not going to be supported anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do they mean by that?
That's a good question.
I haven't seen any articles anyplace that give any information on this at all, but all I can think is, wow. So now Apple is joining in to other hardware manufacturers and other aspects of technology by saying, yeah, your device is no longer any good because we say so.
Mm-hmm.
It just kills me. These companies have so much power over us
Mm-hmm.
just because everything's connected to the internet and they can decide what's still good and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, your brother is using a laptop that I bought in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Windows doesn't run very well on it. It never actually ran very well on it. But
Hmm.
but we put Linux on there and it still works. It works better than the brand new Chromebook that he was given last year during the lockdown for school. And it wasn't just a little bit better. He was,
Well, those Chromebooks did suck.
well, yeah, but beyond that, he had multiple screens. I mean, he had the laptop screen and then he had a monitor plugged into it on top of that, which is
Mm-hmm.
taxing on an older piece of hardware, and it just ran
Mm-hmm.
it fine. you know, and all I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
is, okay, so these MacBook Airs have more power than that, supposedly. If you listen to Apple,
Supposedly.
you listen to Apple and all the fanboys, and well, yeah, it's so much more powerful. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
really? Come on. Why is it supposedly dead? Why is it no good other than the fact that you want somebody to go out and buy another laptop?
Uh.
That's what it comes down to. All these decisions should be down to the individual. It shouldn't be made up, by these manufacturers. They shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
able to do that. And that's all that there is to it. They shouldn't be able to say this device is no longer any good. You want to say that you're not going to provide updates for it? Okay, I'm fine with that. But you want to say the device is no good anymore? That's ridiculous. I mean,
That is stupid.
yeah. Think about when we went to the car museums, the cars that were in there,
Mm-hmm.
especially the Northeast car. What the heck is it called? Oh, Northeast Classic Car Museum or something like that.
The Saratoga one?
No, the other one.
Norwich?
Yeah, I think that's where it is. But those cars are in there. They're on loan by the owners.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember right, there was at least one car the last time we were there that the display said, "Sorry, my owner took me out for a ride."
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if I mean, I think that was if I'm remembering correctly, that was a Corvette from the '60s or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
1960. So imagine if
Mm-hmm.
Chevy, after 10 years, Chevy said, nope, that car's not any good anymore. You can't drive it.
Mm-hmm. That would be stupid.
Yeah, but that's what's happening now. We're talking, and I'm not just talking about Apple. I'm talking about Samsung. Samsung has made it very clear that any internet connected television that they have sold in the last, I think it's 7 years, they can turn off remotely.
That's stupid.
Yeah, as soon as it connects to the internet, it does a phone home thing, is what they used to call it with
Mm-hmm.
Windows, where it would check in, just to see what's going on, and it does that. These manufacturers should not be able to do that.
Exactly.
If they want it to check to see if there's an update, sure, but they should not be able to reverse that and turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of goes to something that ICANN, the governing body over the internet, goes back to something that they had said about Russia.
Hmm.
Basically, they were getting pressured after Russia invaded Ukraine. They were being pressured to cut Russia off from the internet completely.
Hmm.
And what they said, and I just learned this yesterday when I was flipping through some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They said we could, but we will not, because that will set a very bad precedent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, as much as I understand why they were being asked to do it, I also understand why they do not want to do it. Because
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes, it's, well, so and so ticked me off. They stopped buying goods from me. I want them cut off from the internet.
Yep.
And then ICANN's got to go through and they got to do all kinds of justification. It's just going to open a can of worms.
It would.
But that's what these manufacturers need to do. They need to think like that, not boast that, yep, we can turn it off. Yeah, you can turn it
Mm-hmm.
off, but you have to have permission to do so, not do it at your own will.
Agreed.
But I mean, I suppose the way around that would be never connect your television to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a possibility. That's doable, because you can't buy a television that isn't considered a smart TV anymore.
Hmm.
But you can do that. Never connect it to the internet, or if they do shut it off, change the password on your Wi-Fi, reset the television, and then it's not connected.
Hmm.
But it's just getting ridiculous, the power that these manufacturers have over people who are paying money for it.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, you know something? I thought of what it was that I was going to put in there that I forgot.
Hmm. What is it?
And now that I said that, guess what?
What?
I forgot again.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. Oh, it's just been one of those weeks, folks. I've been I've been sick since I think it was Wednesday, and it's taken me all this time to kind of get caught back up with everything. So let's see. What was it that we were talking about? Play back the conversation for me. Maybe I'll pick it up again.
Um, these manufacturers have too much power.
Yeah.
That's all I got out of it.
Yeah, now I'm starting to realize why it's not in here, because I apparently forgot it, because it hit me at the same time as the MacBook is dead thing, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, just couldn't type fast enough because I had my phone. I didn't have my laptop, so I'm sitting there trying to type on my phone, and
Uh-huh.
it doesn't work so well.
Hmm.
Suppose I should have tried the voice typing. I don't
Hmm.
know. Yeah, well. Well, folks, you probably heard the music starting up, because that's all we got.
Mm-hmm.
If you got an idea, drop us a line on Facebook, or if you know Ryan, you know me, send an email to us. We're happy to have you on the show. Join us. Or if you
Please.
give us a good enough topic, and you don't want to join us, or at least a link to the topic so we can figure out what's going on, hey, we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what the show's supposed to be about, is having a little bit of fun and talking about some current events. So,
Good night.
we'll see ya.